So one thing we also do like to do here on the TB podcast is play a little game, which we haven't got a really special name for it yet, but we just call it show and tell. So what we'll do is we'll put up on the big screen a picture from a stage in your career, and I guess we'll just delve a bit into what it was like then. But first of all, how old were you when you actually started, I guess, producing music or even playing an instrument, or when did your love, I guess, kick off?
I think I was around 13 or 14 when one of my friends gave me a CD of like Psytrance from the same year, which was like 03.
Yeah, sure.
And then I grew up, I studied in an agricultural school, so we had like one day a week where you had to do something which is not just regular,
Crosswork.
Yeah, just like work. So I was placed in the studio.
Yeah, nice.
And they had Cubase back then, and they had a mixer, so I started like DJing for my friends. We were like 5-6 people, and I had like this huge Denon with like small chocks. It was awful, but it was so much fun back then. And I remember that I used to like burn CDs back then, and like I used to collect music. And then at some point I just started making music when I was like 15, and then I basically released this first track when I was 16, and I started touring while I was at school. I was 17.
Cool. Well, if we get the first photo up, Mr. Perspective, producer Julian, when's this one from?
Wow. Blast from the past. Okay, that's Space Cat, if you can like see in the background. Yeah, sure. It was one of the first parties I played in Brazil. I reckon it's around 2008.
That's what Facebook said.
Yes, 2008. I have really good memory. And I was 19, no less, I was 18 here. Yeah, I was 18. And I was 19, yeah. I was 19, it was one, I don't remember, like which party it was exactly, but sure. I just remember that back then we didn't had any LED screens, so what they used to do is like put a bunch of TVs in the background. Yeah. So as you see, like there's like 40-inch TVs behind us. So yeah, that's what they used to do.
And for those listening, you can play along at home by jumping on to TRENTOFF.com to see all the photos that we're discussing at the moment, or also on the TB Podcast Facebook page. We actually had, when Gid Luba was in on episode 3, he showed us a video or a photo, I think, of him playing at a party. He was playing like Commercial House, and you were standing in the background, but it was before you knew each other.
Really?
And I thought he said that he showed you that picture, but he said, yeah, he played some commercial thing. He was playing at a party.
Yeah, he told me something like that. Yeah, I remember.
And then, you're in the background, and then he was watching it years later. He was like, oh, hang on. I can't believe I played that before Freedom Fighters. Next picture, please. So this is a more recent one. I think.
Yeah, this is very recent.
Yeah.
This is wow. This is basically one of the biggest highlights I've had last year. This is Adana Festival. It's
So is this predominantly a trance festival? Or?
It's a trance festival. Yeah, I played a set after Merkaba, which is one of my biggest influences.
We saw Merkaba at Room 680 about 2 months ago. He's amazing. Amazing.
So I'll give you a cool insight in a second. But so I played Adana, and it was a very exciting day because I played a set of my original stuff, and after that I did a back-to-back with Rhinosaurus, which is one of my most favorite artists ever. It's insane. It was really good. And speaking of Merkaba, we just practically finished the tune together. So we just did a track together, and he did a remix of Recycled, and I'm currently starting a remix of one of his tracks called Earth.
Did you play that remix at Paradigm?
No, the remix on Paradigm was a remix that Domestic and I did.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So this is the insight about Merkaba and I, basically. Very good festival.
If you just drag that photo just across, just like that, look how those legs line up. Yeah, awesome. So how did you first, I guess, hear of Merkaba?
Wow, that's a funny story, actually. I played that festival you guys have, I don't remember the name of it, Earth Frequency?
Earth Frequency, yeah.
So I played Earth Frequency 2 years ago, I think, the same year I did Rainbow. And then I'm a huge fan of Merkaba, yeah? So I came backstage, and he was talking to Kobe from Loud.
Sure.
So I just stood there and I didn't know what to say. And at some point they stopped talking, and I told him like, just FYI, dude, I'm a huge fan. And then he took a step back and he looked at me and he told me, you're a huge fan, I'm a huge fan. And I'm like, do you actually know any of my stuff? And then he told me,
bromance.
yeah. And then he told me that he was at Freaks of Nature festival in Germany, and Fabio Leal played Recycled, and he ran from the dance floor to the backstage to ask him who made that track, and that it influenced him a lot. And that's how we met. And then I told him that, listen, like, I'm a huge just a huge follower of you, and I know you don't do collaborations and stuff like that, but I would be more than honored. And then it started when he did the remix for Recycled, and now we're doing the track together. And
So when will that be released?
It's a good question, actually. I don't know. We're working on it right now, and as soon as we finish, we'll know. But it's gonna take a while, because like I wanna give it the proper respect, because I want it to be perfect as much as I can.
His latest album was awesome, but you do see a lot of similarities in, I guess, his tunes to, like ones that you did, like the Australians one, which you did with that was with Vice.
Yeah, Martin Vice and Michael Bonnell. Yeah, he told me that Recycled and stuff like that gave him a lot of influence, which was a big,
Yeah. Next picture.
Lev.
So here's a picture with probably the best friend of the pod at the moment, Lev. He helped us set up our interviews at Paradigm with Mandragora and Perfect Stranger. But here's a lovely picture of you in what looks like some sort of rainforest.
We did a party back then. Like I know Lev for a while.
Yeah. So how do you know Lev?
Yeah, cool. So that's also a funny story, actually. His sister used to be married to one of my best friends from childhood. So his name is Tal, and he lives like basically, definitely. He lives like 20 meters from my place, and we grew up together. And I met Nomi when she was like, I don't know, 18 or 19, maybe 20, I don't know. And then we met, and then she told me about her family in Australia. And first time I came to Australia, like second time I met Lev and all of the family and Dan and all that. And then like we just became friends, and we hung out at like Rainbow. We just like really clicked, and I was with them and like with him and all of his friends, Zoe and Millie and all the guys. And then like at some point Lev told me like, let's throw an after party just for our friends, and I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And we threw an after party in like a really cool location just for our friends, and I played like a 2-hour set, which was that a lot of fun.
Was that the one at King Lake? I remember coming to it. It was like 200 people there.
Yeah.
I was actually, I drove up on the Saturday night. Yeah, we didn't even know.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even know Julian then, and we were both there.
Yeah. But, it was a lot of fun.
I remember heading up, and I had to be back, I think, for some reason on the Sunday, and I was about to go home at like 11 in the morning, and my friend Noy goes, Freedom Fighters is playing at 2 o'clock. I'm like, I guess I'll have to hang around.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So this one we'll cross over into our little other segment, which we play Guess the Tune in a minute. But do you want to explain what's going on?
Well, that's Mandragora and I in France. We did a show together in Lyon, I think, or Marseille.
He's got the kilt on there.
Yeah, he's got a kilt on. He's a very unique individual. And I've known him for over a decade. We met in Mexico like 10 years ago when he started as a follower of freedom fighters, which was very nice.
I'll put a little bit of this one on in the background then whilst you're telling your story.
Oh yeah. And what happened was he came up to me around a year ago and he told me that he was very, very, very influenced by my album.
Yeah, sure.
And he wrote a tune that reminded him of my album, and he asked me if I want to collab on this one, which was this track,
Center of the Universe.
Yeah, and then I started a remix, and then at some point he told me, listen, it sounds too much like Freedom Fighters, maybe we should I want to release my own version. I told him I totally understand it, because I kind of freedom fighter the shit out of the track.
Well, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
Really?
So we ended up releasing this one as a remix. He did a remix of one of my tunes, and I'll probably collab with him at some point. I really appreciate his art.
Yes.
I think it's like something you don't see every day, and some people like it, some people don't, but I really appreciate the fact that he's very true to his art, and he does whatever he wants and whatever feels natural to him, and he's a really good guy.
Yeah, and we were lucky enough for him to give us about 15 or 20 minutes after his set on the weekend, and just learning more about, I guess, his similar things to what we're talking about, creative process and that sort of stuff. It really makes you just respect him on another level. And I tell you what, I don't know if you got to see any of his set, but it was when the rain was pouring down. I think the whole festival was under that tent.
That's really good.
The energy in there was just something else. Like, just you talk about the 3 drops. It was like, I described it like when you're at a football game and the ball goes close to the goal and there's like a little roar, and then like one of the players gets it and we can tell he's going to score, and then there's the next roar and then they actually score the goal and everyone just goes nuts. That's what it was like.
Yeah, he's very into the whole drop thing, which is very cool. I remember I told him that was actually the point that I told him that maybe we should release it separately, because I'm not in that place anymore of doing the whole football thing, which is very cool and very nice. But I'm more into the deep, like down the rabbit hole kind of approach when it comes to music nowadays. That's the reason we decided to release it separately.
In that way. Cool. Well, whilst we're on that, we'll play another one of the tunes that we mentioned before here that you did with Bice and Michael Bennell.
Yeah.
So
that's Australiens,
IENs.
Yeah.
I like what you did there. I'm all about names, so the way that you've done that is just tickled me very nicely. I guess, do you want to explain a little bit about the process behind this? Did you make it in Australia?
I did actually.
Yeah.
I was on tour in Cairns. And I just had like a week of like being in Cairns, and I stayed at Ali's place, Ali Bud. I don't know if you guys know him. He used to throw really cool parties back in Cairns. And I sat down in his place, and I just felt like I wanted to do something Australian because I like totally fell in love with Australia back then. I think it was 2014 maybe. So what I did was I just recorded a bunch of like sounds from back in Cairns.
I was going to ask if you actually recorded,
I recorded some of them. Some of them, and some of them I downloaded from YouTube basically. So it's like kookaburras and like everything is from Australia.
Well, we did a similar thing at Strawberry Fields. We just recorded it before we went to bed, so the whole town was like, not the town, but the wildlife was waking up. So we've got all these nice little sample grabs that we trying to implement.
That's what I did. And then like I couldn't finish the track for some reason, something was missing, and then I called up Martin, which is a good friend of mine and an amazing producer, and I just sent him the track, and him and Banel just sat down on it for like, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks, and then he sent it back. I finished it, and this track is 100% made for Australia, and I hope I'll be playing it for the rest of my life when I come to Australia. And I play it every set, everywhere.
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 Good.
But it's 100% made for Australia.